Well, I did say that I would review these three awesome movies. Now, I think the time has finally come for me to go ahead and talk about them. So let's get started talking about this awesome trilogy. It's time to go back to the future. Anyways, Back to the Future is a sci-fi adventure comedy film, the first film in the trilogy, directed by Robert Zemeckis, written by Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale, and executive produced by Steven Spielberg. And so, the plot of this amazing 1985 sci-fi comedy classic is that we meet a small town California teen, and his name is Marty McFly, and he is thrown back into the 50s when an experiment by his eccentric scientist friend Doc Brown goes completely wrong. Traveling through time in a modified DeLorean car in which Marty responds to the car to the doctor. You mean to tell me you built a time machine out of a DeLorean? Marty encounters younger versions of his parents, and he must make sure that they fall in love, otherwise he will cease to exist. And even more dauntingly, Marty has to return to his own time and save the life of Doc Brown. This movie is a freaking classic. This is a classic movie. This is one of the best movies ever created. And for good reason. This movie gets a lot of praise. This spawned a big franchise with two other movies, an animated series, a theme park ride, some video games, and this movie is one of the most quoted movies of all time. I'm not kidding you. A lot of people can quote any line of dialogue from all of these movies, including myself. I've seen them so many times, but I wanted to talk about them. Not only because they're well known, and also because this is one movie series, one of a couple movie series that I haven't talked about on my channel yet. And so I decided to talk about a masterpiece like this, and why do I love Back to the Future. There's a lot of great things to be said about Back to the Future. It's a great sci-fi film, a great time travel film, great adventure comedy film, and I agree, it's everything you could want in a sci-fi adventure comedy film that has time travel. And various movie studios, they rejected this film's script until the success of Robert Zemeckis' other film, Romancing the Stone, which I've heard of but never seen. I've seen some Robert Zemeckis movies, but not a whole lot. And various movie companies turned it down, including Columbia, Fox, I think Warner Brothers. Various movie companies turned this film down. But what they didn't realize is that this movie that no one would be interested in would later go on to be a hit. And it was a hit. And Steven Spielberg produced the project at his own film company, Amblin Entertainment, which is one of two different film companies he is in control of. The other one, of course, is DreamWorks. And the first choice for this movie was Michael J. Fox, but the producers of his TV series, Family Ties, wouldn't allow him to be in the film. So Eric Stoltz was cast in the role, and during filming, they decided that he was miscast, and he was then again approached, and they gave him more flexibility in his schedule and the blessing of his producers. And so they worked out so he can do both. And I like this idea, and the idea is great. And I love the story being set in the 1950s. A 17-year-old kid traveling to meet his parents at the same age and trying to get back in time. And the DeLorean looks really great. I love the DeLorean in this movie. The DeLorean looks amazing, and it looks fantastic. And the DeLorean is just great. Now, in the earlier versions of the script, it was designed as a refrigerator, and its user needed to use the power of an atomic explosion at the Nevada test site to return home. But instead, they made it into a time machine driving mobile. And it was difficult for Zemeckis and Bob Gale to create a believable friendship before they created the giant guitar amplifier. And I buy the friendship between these two. This friendship is amazing. And I love the friendship here. It's fantastic. I love the friendship. And I love the way this movie is directed. Robert Zemeckis is a great director and a great writer. He has directed some great films and some entertaining films. He's directed What Lies Beneath, Back to the Future 1 through 3, Forrest Gump, Castaway, Beowulf. The list goes on. And he also produced Monster House, which that was a fun movie, and I reviewed that film. That's one of my most popular uploads. Woo! And they took the Nevada nuclear site elements and a mid-refrigerator thing, and they replaced it with a different climax, with Hill Valley and the clock tower sequence, which is in the final film. But Spielberg, he would later use the refrigerator and Nevada nuclear site elements for a film that he would do in 2008 called Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And the budget for this movie is very small, so they work with what they got here. And the cast is great in this movie. I love the cast in this movie. Michael J. Fox is great. You got Christopher Lloyd is great as the Doctor. Leah Thompson, Crispin Glover, Claudia Wells. The acting is great. The effects are amazing in this movie. The effects are great. The time traveling sequences, the lightning effects, and the effects in the clock tower sequence. They're awesome. It's awesome. ILM, they did a great job. And the music by Alan Silvestri is really great. I like the compositions and the small scale score. And the songs in this movie are great. I love the songs Back in Time and The Power of Love and Johnny Be Good, which Michael J. Fox actually lip synced. And later on in year after this movie came out in 1985, in VHS, they added, Universal added a to-be continued graphic at the end to increase awareness of production of a sequel. And this movie is just a lot of great things in it. The characters are great. It's well constructed. It's not too long. It's funny. It's inventive. It's fun time travel. It has great spirit, great sense of humor, and great acting, great directing. Everything is great. And this movie won Best Sound Editing. And it was also nominated for Original Song, Best Sound Mixing, and Best Original Screenplay, but those didn't win. And this movie has a everlasting legacy. There is also a musical theater production in development, but I think it hasn't been made yet. And American Film Institute puts this on their list. This is part of Entertainment Weekly's 50 best high school movies. Empire's 500 films ever made. A lot of different lists. Selected in the U.S. Film Registry by the Library of Congress. The screenplay got a recognition approach for 56 best script of all time. The Writers Guild, by the Writers Guild. And this is also one of my favorite movies of all time. And there's been a lot of different parodies and cultural stuff towards this movie. Yeah, there is a reason why this movie is loved. And I have no problems with this movie. And this movie was very successful. And they decided to make 2 more films. And I am going to talk about those 2 films. But this is definitely going to get my Joshua Drake Silver Rainbow Seal of Approval. Because this is a darn great film. This is a classic film. And this is in the list that I created, but I just haven't made a video on yet, called My Most Untouchable Movies. And you're going to be hearing some of those. And this is in my 100 plus favorite movies of all time. It's just not part of the list. I don't think it's part of the list. I'll have to check, because I did write the list out on paper. But let me know what you guys think of this amazing film down below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Who would hate Back to the Future? Come on. And no, I do not welcome a remake for Back to the Future at all. And Robert Zemeckis, he has made it clear that there should not be a remake. So, thank you, Robert Zemeckis, for saying that, because I agree with you. You're not going to do better. So let me know what you guys think of this first film in the series, and I will see you guys in Back to the Future Part Deuce. This is Future Filmmaker 39480, and you guys keep it cool.